Inventions Born of Rivalry: How Competition and Envy Pushed Science Forward in the Late 1800s. Two brilliant minds, Charles and Albert, were the talk of the scientific community. Both were known for their intelligence, creativity, and most of all their rivalry. From the moment they first crossed paths at a science symposium, a spark of competition ignited between them. Each man saw in the other not just a peer but a potential obstacle to his own greatness. Their rivalry ran deep. When Charles made headlines for developing an improved steam engine, Albert was quick to release his own, boasting that it was faster and more efficient. And when Albert pioneered a more accurate method of chemical analysis, Charles launched a competing method, claiming his was simpler and more effective. It seemed neither was content simply to make a mark on the world, they had to outshine the other in every way. One winter, Charles decided to pursue a device he believed would revolutionize communication. He worked tirelessly day and night, his laboratory aglow with light as he pored over sketches and metal parts, piecing together his grand invention. But when word of his project leaked out, Albert couldn't resist the challenge. Driven by a mix of envy and ambition, he threw himself into his own version of the device, convinced he could do better than his rival. Months passed as both men labored in secrecy, each pushing the boundaries of science and engineering further than they had before. Finally, on a brisk spring morning, Charles announced his invention to the public, a prototype of the world's first telegraph, able to send messages across distances in mere minutes. The scientific community was astounded. Reporters flocked to his lab, scribbling down his every word as he demonstrated the device. But Albert was not one to be outdone. Just days later, he unveiled his own version of the telegraph, claiming it was faster and more reliable than Charles'. In a brilliant twist, Albert added a feature allowing the device to send multiple signals at once, something Charles' machine couldn't do. While Charles fumed at the perceived slight, the world was captivated by the advancements both men had made. Over the years, this pattern repeated. When Charles invented a new kind of battery that could hold a charge for hours, Albert responded with a rechargeable model that could be used indefinitely. Charles' groundbreaking research into wireless signals led Albert to experiment with frequencies, eventually resulting in the early foundations of radio technology. Their competition, fueled by envy, became legendary, spurring each man to explore ideas he might never have considered otherwise. They would spot each other's innovations in the papers, and almost immediately, one would dive into a lab to outdo the other. For both, envy became a powerful motivator, turning every success into a challenge to be surpassed. In their twilight years, the two men happened to meet at an award ceremony for scientific achievement. By this time, their inventions had changed the world. Communication, energy, and technology had evolved in ways no one could have imagined. Standing side by side, they exchanged glances, each realizing the other had been as driven, as passionate, and as relentless as he was. For the first time, they spoke without hostility. Albert raised his glass, a glint of respect in his eyes, and said, "It's amazing, isn't it? All we accomplished just trying to outdo each other." Charles laughed, a hearty sound filled with years of unspoken admiration. "We may have been rivals, Albert, but we made each other better. And perhaps the world needed both of us." Their rivalry had been born of envy, but through it, they had each carved a legacy. Together, they had driven the march of progress faster and further, all because neither could bear to let the other shine brighter. Please note that this is just a fictional short story written to emphasize another side of envy and jealousy.